Welcome back to the Curiosity Cave. Um, this weekend I went to a card show. I had three opportunities. Still feeling kind of weak. Got the meds and stuff working pretty good with that brain tumor slash pituitary adenoma, something like that. But it's appears to be benign, and it's just going to be the drugs that'll be permanent. And I'm feeling pretty good. No headaches, no double vision. So I went to a card show, and I did have to take a couple breaks just to, I'm not at full strength. I could never do a whole national for sure, um, or even drive down there. But I'm enjoying the hobby. I'm not getting a lot of stuff graded. And that being said, I spent less money this weekend than I would have if I would have got 10 cards graded. And plus, I had cash left over at the end. And I thought I got some pretty good deals, a lot of cards that I wouldn't have got if I would have sent the money in and gotten some cards graded. So that's kind of my status quo right now is cards versus grading. Rather have the cards than the graded cards. And I'm enjoying it. Just happens that the cards I picked up were basketball. They're all great price, and I'll kind of go through and show the highlights. I don't want to show every card, the regular players and the superstars, but I'll kind of go through these as quick as I can. I know basketball isn't everybody's number one sport, and I really enjoy basketball. I grew up playing basketball and baseball, and every winter was basketball, and the summer, spring was baseball in between hitting the swimming pool. And it goes all the way back to my parents. They were big basketball fans, high school, college, pros. So, and my aunts and uncles. So let's start off the first card. The only regular issue size, 1974 Pistol Pete Maravich. I remember him in college. He wore one pair of socks all the way through college. They got pretty grimy looking, but he just wore the one pair of socks. I think it was for luck, is what he said, but some guys scoring 44 points, 40 points a game, no 3-point shot. That says something right there. Just a real flashy player. He was Magic Johnson before Magic Johnson. He was Bob Cousy after Bob Cousy. Just he. There's some videos on YouTube that show him playing horse against some of the all-time greats in basketball, and he usually won. They're kind of interesting. Go take a look if you get a chance. Pistol Pete Maravich with the New Orleans Jazz right now on that card, 1974. Next up, 69-70 tops. Here's Sweet Lou Hudson. Played for the Minnesota Gophers along with Archie Clark. Pretty decent team. Great backcourt. Both went on to play, had pretty good NBA careers. And then here's the 70-71 Lou Hudson All-Star card. And all the 70-71s that I picked up are all second series. I don't know if it's tougher to get or whatever, but I bought my first 70-71s. I was with my grandfather. Took me into Home of Economy was the name of the store in Devils Lake, North Dakota. And I been collecting baseball cards for about since '67, and I saw on the counter they had this box of basketball cards. I say, "Grandpa, is it okay if I get some of these?" So I grabbed a couple packs. He goes, "You sure you don't want more?" And I go, "Yes, I'll take some few more." So, it was kind of it was a fun trip. Stayed with my grandpa for a week or so and had a good time just getting to know him. He ran an international harvester implement pretty close to Devil's Lake. Next, we have Clyde the Glide Frazier, defensive stalwart with the world champion New York Knicks. He was a pretty good scorer. Came out of Southern Illinois University back in the day. Here's JoJo White, first Olympics I ever watched. He was the star guard. Spencer Haywood was the star center. I was a little disappointed that Lou Alcindor was not playing, but there was, I can understand civil rights stuff going on back in the day. And it was fun watching him in the Olympics. And then he went on to be an all-star player in the NBA. Not the team I rooted for, but pretty good Boston Celtic team. I was a Laker fan back then. And I'm still a Laker fan after the Timberwolves. I think I only missed one or two Timberwolf games this year. Willis Reed, another star for that New York Knicks team, came up hobbling in that final game to help and helped ignite the Knicks to the championship over my Lakers. And here's one of the star players on my Lakers, Jerry West, Mr. Clutch. He was a big-time college player. I didn't see him in college, just from about Kareem's era on up, I guess. Big West Virginia hero. Here's another Boston Celtic, Tom Satch Sanders. Pretty good reserve for those back-to-back Celtic teams that just kept winning. Lakers couldn't win no matter what they did until Bill Russell retired. Greg Smith. I liked the Bucks for a couple of years there because I was a Lou Alcindor fan when he played for UCLA. Sidney Wicks, Bill Walton after that. It was fun watching UCLA in the day, but he was a pretty good small forward. Helped him win that first championship with Kareem and Oscar Robertson, but I don't have that card. And here's one of the championship series cards. You can see Dave DeBusschere, Chicago White Sox pitcher, shooting over Wilt Chamberlain. It's an awesome shot. That championship series is a great subset of that 70-71 set. So now we're going to jump up to the next batch from the same show. Just picked up some other guys. Here's Bob Lanier, great college player at St. Bonaventure, great Pistons player. Big shoes. He had some big shoes to follow in Detroit. Wes Unseld. I want to look and see what they have for his height. They have 6'7" and a fourth. That must be with high-heeled sneakers or something. He was a short center, but he was a great center at that height. He had that big body. And he later in the 70s teamed up with Alvin Hayes. They had some great NFL or NBA Finals against the Seattle Supersonics with Jack Sikma, Dennis Johnson, Downtown Freddie Brown. There's another good nickname, Earl the Pearl Monroe. What a guard. Winston-Salem, All-American. Came up with the Baltimore Bullets and then won championship with the New York Knicks. There's another Celtic All-Star, Dave Cowens, great center. Helped the Celtics win a championship with my guy JoJo White. Speaking of the devil, here's the 76 JoJo White with the Celtics. Paul Westphal, great guard. So I'm a little anal. I like to have my card centered in the holder. Sorry about that. Great guard, great coach with the Phoenix Suns. There's another sweet Lou Hudson, former University of Minnesota Gopher. And I'm going to put these two guys together because they were... I'll start with Ron Behagen. He was on that Minnesota Gopher team that Bill Musselman coached. Dave Winfield was his teammate on the basketball court. And that was the group that went after Luke Whitty and the Ohio State Buckeyes. It was not the greatest moment in Minnesota Gopher history. And another teammate of Bahagan and Dave Winfield, Jim Brewer. The Williams Arena was rocking back in the day when those guys were playing. Another one of these cards that needs to be centered in the holder. They kind of slip around. Former mayor of Detroit, Dave Bing, great scoring guard for the Pistons and later for the Bullets toward the end of his career. Fun player to watch. Speaking of fun players, here's Cazzie Russell, great Michigan Wolverine. Later, his brother Campy came along, played in the NBA also. Campy Russell, Cazzie Russell, and of course, some of the good guys, the Lakers. And finally, from that set, Jerry Sloan. It's a little bit better card than his 70-71 card. Here's what the backs of these cards look like. You got the college career and the pro career, which I really liked back in the day. Now you can look it up on Basketball Reference, but back in the day, I loved looking up the stats of these guys. And the final card, and yes, I'm still under $200 for the whole group, even when I'm including this card. The great George Mikan exhibit card, 1948-49, Minneapolis National League. One of the greatest centers in professional basketball. Of course, he played in the NBL, the BAA, and the combined NBL-BAA called the NBA. My mom had gone, and Dad had both gone to games to see George Mikan at different times. So I have two different programs. My mom's program, she went and got George Mikan to sign it, and then also Clyde Lovellette. And then my uncle, my grandpa, and two of my uncles also went to one of the Mikan games. They played in Grand Forks, North Dakota. They played in Fargo, Bismarck, other small towns around Minnesota. You know, they went to the people. And so one night, my hometown, which is along the river, was flooded at the time. There was no way to drive out of town. So my grandpa would park his car about a mile away on the highway, and they would walk that mile on the railroad to get to the car. So my grandpa and two of my uncles walked to the car, drove to Grand Forks, watched the basketball game, Minneapolis Lakers, and then they drove back. It's an hour and a half each way. So after a basketball game, you know, you're probably talking about 9-10 o'clock at night when the game gets over. They get back 11:30 midnight, walk that mile on the railroad tracks with floodwater on both sides to get home. I thought that was an awesome story. And Mike had only played 5 years in the NBA, won 7 years in the NBA, won 5 championships. He was NBA first team 5 times, All-Star 4 times, led the league in scoring twice. So he's kind of the, I don't know, call him like a Hannes, like I guess Ray and Tony called him the Hannes Wagner, but they were considering that the Bowman, 48 Bowman rookie card. This is 48-49. It's blank back exhibit. Great piece for my exhibit collection. Great stories around George Mikan. I met him. He told me his wife had melted down his championship rings and made 1 championship ring. And he used to, at the Timberwolf games, he used to sit in the front row under the basket, about 4 seats over from Kirby Puckett. So I'd get in the arena and look over there. Oh, there's George, there's Kirby. Gonna be a good night. So thank you everybody for watching, and I still have that more cards to go through from that collection I bought a few weeks back. My health issues were in the way, and I can say it's a tumor and make it sound bad, but it is what it is, and it's benign, and meds are going to help me. They say just have to go back for checkups, and so far so good. Hope to get to another show next month and start walking once I get all my testing done. Um, Build my strength up, and thank you all for the well wishes. I really appreciate that. I appreciate everybody watching. This is a great hobby. We can all join it together and share our good, bad, and ugly times in the hobby, and just keep pushing on. Thanks a lot, everyone.